quintuple time dad. All right, so what are we talking about? I want to say, I want to thank everybody so far that has been supporting these. And I know we're already only like 1 week in, and I'm getting ready to cancel this week's classes. I have to do it, guys. So there's not going to be a 7 o'clock this week. I'm going to try to get 1 or maybe 2 more of these classes in this week, but I'm not going to say which days. So you might just have to just play it by ear. And the reason is I want to be able to do a full weekend. This weekend that just passed, I'm going to be honest, guys. With all these slides, I got like 1,500 slides ready to spray up the place. I felt like a crackhead at home. Like I was like I was going through a thing. You know what I'm saying? So I missed you guys this week. If you guys missed me Saturday and Sunday, I missed you guys Saturday and Sunday. Like, but you know, I was working. I was working on this next grimoire, right? At least though, you guys are now, I'm starting to get people hitting me up, and people are starting to go back into the history of what we've been doing. And now people are able to look at all of the stuff that I've been teaching the last, I don't know, 5-10 years, and it's having a better perspective. They're like, wait a minute, Inky has wrote a couple of grimoires. Like Inky tells us that he doesn't write books, he writes grimoires. How come? Oh, okay. And then we see the club. Go to, well, you got to go to polyibic.com no more. You can go to americanhealer.website and just click the clothing line, and then you go, yeah. Shout out to my guy Ezra as usual. But things are starting to click for some folks, and I really like that. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm getting motivated. You know what I'm saying? I'm getting motivated. I'm about to be back. Once I finish up with this, we're going to be back on our workout routine. Because, well, towards the end of last summer, I got my puppy, and people are really amazed at how well and how fast I was able to take a puppy Rottweiler and have a fully polished service dog. And people watched me do the work myself. Like I don't use a leash. Well, I gotta use a leash some places because it's police and this and that. But other than that, my dog doesn't need a leash. Like my dog we go to movie, restaurant, supermarket, wherever. We out in the street walking, my dog's off leash all the time, like it's, so people are like, yo, how are you able to, I'm like, bro, it's the techniques is here. And this, what I'm showing you guys now is Masonic, is because it's repetitive training. That's all Masonry really is, like repetitive training to build the mind. So if you notice the SoulCraft, we started with what? The martial arts part, right? Because when you go back, I want to keep reminding you guys that this is one thing. Because when you go back, the ancient priests, they wasn't like suckers, you know what I'm saying? So the self-defense was twofold. It was a self-defense system, yeah, secondarily. Beating people up was not the focal point of martial arts. That is a new thing. Now that a lot of, we'll say Westerners, now that the Westerners have gotten control of martial arts, that's what it's about. MMA, that kind of thing. And that's not martial arts. That's just fighting. You know what I'm saying? That's not martial arts. 'Cause martial arts systems was about building the spirit, the morality, and the mind. Masonry, right? So that's why I took the time to show how that came right from the hieroglyphs, the pyramid, the ancient mystery schools, right? Because I wanted to establish that part first. You know, that part had been totally missing from the landscape of, from our discussions as a community. And having been personally trained with Baba Malik, you know, he took me up, you know, through a few belts, Chase as well, like, and Baba Malik is kind of, you know, he's in that, you know, Baba Khaled, you know, he's in that. It's a different type of, there's a hierarchy in the states of certain types of martial artists, you know what I'm saying? So having conversations with some of those folks and resting greatness to Baba Kalindi, you know what I'm saying? Like that was a huge, he was a huge influence in me doing those things. In fact, I believe his picture, I got a picture where we was at, I think we was at a cookout or something. I don't know what we was doing. Me and Baba Kalindi. Yeah, I think we was at a block party. Great, wow. But just having that influence, you know what I'm saying, it was important for us to get that and put that on wax for the family. And so we're here now, right? And so people were waiting since then on the book that was supposed to come. And I'm not going to say that the book didn't come out because Baba Kalindi transitioned. I'm not going to say that. But if I was to say that his transitioning had nothing to do with the delay of the book, that would be a lie as well. You know what I'm saying? Because in my mind, I was like, you know, I even got a part of a conversation we had recorded. You know what I'm saying? And I you know, I never did anything with it or, you know, whatever. So, you know, now having still all that information from that book in this book, you know what I'm saying, and trying to kind of get everything together, and you know, it's been an experience. I'll say that, putting this stuff together. You know what I'm saying? Because a lot of what's coming together, even though you guys may not see it in the book when you get it, if you can even call it a book properly, but when you go through it, you're not going to see necessarily these men having their hand on it. You know what I'm saying? But my father's father, like these are, you know, these are lessons that I got from all of these men. You know what I'm saying? So, which is part of the reason that I was inspired to just finally go ahead and move forward with it and push it out there to the people, is a lot of us don't have those powerful male influences around anymore. And a large part of this is time travel. A large part of this is time travel. And I need you guys to understand that, or at least try to grasp it. You know what I'm saying? Like, don't jump out the window with it. You just know I don't do the spooky shit, right? But tradition is very important. And I can't say this enough, because it gives you the opportunity through symbol, through information, to speak to your immediate ancestors and all the way back into especially if you have an unbroken tradition with a system of information where you're able to encode information and then pull information out from sources. Now, that's whether you use picture, whether you use story. Usually, though, what happens is this. Story is what you use, right? The griot. That's why we have that as a part of our online biochemistry class. I better get in that class while it's still free. They're like, Inky, we know you're going to keep it free because you're a Mason now. We all know you're a Mason, so you got to give away charity. I'm still a nigga from 158th Street, too, so, and with 10 babies, so I got to get it a few hours, too. But no. I'm just saying, like, it's a beautiful thing. You know what I'm saying? You have tradition, you're able to, pull information and code, and it's important. But the thing is, sometimes the stories and the pictures can compete. And this is why it's important for people to have specific traditions where they can learn to use pictures as alphabets, right? That's the difference really between a picture and a letter. A letter is still a type of picture, but it's a highly specific glyph. It's a highly specific picture where the information that you could pull out of it is very limited, especially when you get to like English. English is, when you get back, and the further you go back, the more information packing they allow into the symbol, right? Which is the reason why when you get to the Arabic, the Hebrew, the Aramaic, and those things, every letter is also a number, because that opens up the coding process. That opens up the coding and allows for more information, right? But anyway, we have story, right? And the story should have multiple layers of meaning, 3 at least, hint, hint, wink, wink, right? And then you take those stories, you put that into a picture. That was always that's the essence of the mystery school system. That's the essence of being an initiate, right? Europeans had no part in that. So the moment that they got some money and figured out that they were still missing some stuff, because we know they had the Crusades and they spent a lot of time and money blowing up stuff and killing stuff to find out what we was doing over there in the pyramids. And that's the story of the Templars. The Templars got the papyri and some stuff, but they still ain't know what to do with the stuff. They ain't know how to read it. They ain't know what they was looking at. You know what I'm saying? So then that was the thing. Now we got to get folks to translate, decode, and blah, 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 blah. So, and we've been through phases and stages of that. In fact, we're still in a phase and stage of that now with this new AI GPT, GTP, whatever that is. I'm not on there. I'll let y'all know right now. So please, people, stop asking me if I'm on there. I'm not on there. And I'm aware of it, and I'm not on there, okay? If people are complaining in 5 or 10 years that the artificial intelligence is destroying society and taking jobs and blah, 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 it's because of all the people that are participating, freely turning over their intellectual property into the AI. AI can't function without having actual human intelligence to model. So the purpose of them opening up the AI platform, like every time you go in there and use it, it generates a receipt for you. It's generating a receipt, but it's telling you that, don't worry, it's beta, it's early, it's free. But it's letting you know that each thing you do on there, they're charging you for it. And you don't really understand that process. But not only are they charging you, you're entering into an exchange, and you're not exchanging. So what they're collecting is your intellectual property. As you're telling them these ideas and emotions and this, that, and you're asking questions, and all that's being collected and collated as data that's going to become the AI's brain after it continues to. And I got to be responsible. You know what I'm saying? So I'm not saying I'm not going to be on there, but I'm not on there right now. I'm not on there right now. As of right now, I'm uncomfortable sharing what God gives me with the computer. That's not it. If God wanted to give it to the computer, God would have gave it to the computer. That's not how that go. You know what I'm saying? The computer ain't getting it from me. That's not how that go. So maybe the computer might get it from one of you niggas secondhand. After you get it from me, then you do what you do. But guess what? The karma's gonna be on you. I'm cool. I'm cool. Yeah, I'm not going that route there. Right. So let's jump in. We should have a fun one. This should be a good one for the night. Wait, why is it like not doing what I wanted to do? All right, hold on. Oh man, wait a minute. About to start too early. Wait a minute. All right, so we need a moment, clearly. This is the moment where we send cash apps, $ Minister Inky. This is the moment where we hit the website, AmericanHealer.website, get your CMOS, your Botana. I'm the only person that has unsaturated fat Botana oil. Like, it's not like you're getting it from somewhere else. The shit you buying, and you're being loyal to people selling you cancer juice. Stop buying the cancer juice. But get your CMOS, your blue magic gel, get your, let's get it in. You know what I'm saying? Subscribe to the video. If you already subscribed, unsubscribe, resubscribe, hit the thumbs up, share this, copy the URL, put it on your Facebook, put it on your Twitter, put it on your IG. Right? Let's do those things. Let's get the video out there. Right? Let's hit the algorithms. Don't be looking at my dry lips. Okay. So hold on. All right. So we're going to take a look at another initiation in the Bible today. Another initiation in the Bible today. So we had a lot of fun. I got a lot of response from the Genesis chapter 3 initiation. That is more like a that's a neophyte, an apprentice, a beginner, a novice. That is that right there is like a very early, depending on what your system is, because masonry is not the only system out there. There's a million different systems. But they all kind of have, your first initiation where you're like a new guy, you don't really know much, and then you move on up through whatever the ranks are that exist there, right? And so what we went through, Genesis chapter 3, like that was like that early process. So even if you go to China, 3-Dot Brotherhood, or some of the Taoist movements out there, that would just be looked at as the initial spark of your spiritual life, right? That is literally initiating the soul or the light body. Because one of the things that the people that are initiated know that uninitiated people don't know is that everybody doesn't exactly have a spirit. You have a soul because you're alive and you eat every day. But if you're not cultivating that and building that into a body, Yeah, you're not, yeah, that's the great distraction. That's the great scam, the great hustle that's happening out here, is that you're so distracted with money and trying to get the house or the job or the girlfriend or whatever it is, that you're going to waste your entire life here and have never cultivated your spirit, your soul, or your relationship with your creator. And then when it's time for you to leave here and it's time for you to make the jump, you're going to look like an idiot with no answers on test day. You're going to look like an idiot with no answers on test day. And I promise you, I am not going to feel bad, and I'm not going to like let anybody cheat off my test. Like that's, no, I learned about that in high school. You know, I learned about that throughout school, but in high school, that was like, that was the end of that. You know what I'm saying? But I always was really smart, but I always had like goons around as buddies, kind of, so to speak. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, like, I mean, we was, you know, moving how we was moving, you know what I'm saying? Just amongst the unit, I was good test day. Like, I'm good test day. I got the answers. And, you know, I was that guy. Like when it's, there's some, usually there's a kid in the class and you got to really separate that kid and talk to him and say, hey, you might be able to afford to not pay attention and misbehave in here and still do well on your test because you might know the information for whatever reason. But your friends, the people you're distracting, oh, they're dumb. They're dumb. And if you don't stop distracting them, they're going to be dumb forever. Like they don't know this. They don't know this. They need this info. You need to stop distracting them, kind of thing. So, yeah, I'm sharing my test paper now. Like that's what I've been doing. That's my whole life. I'm just sharing the test paper with folks. Like, hey, got the answer sheet. Got the answer sheet. You know, as people are still out there saying that Masons are somehow keeping secrets from them. I'm like, huh? What are you talking about? Not only have I shared the most information, you know, online, period, bar none, but the most useful, life-changing information, and have actually been pulling people back from the grave. I'm talking about doctors like, you got 3 weeks. Ah, bring them back. Ah, bring them back. We snatched niggas out the mouth of death. Woo! Get your ass over here. Hang out with your babies a little bit longer, right? So, you know, that's not it, but you got to put this to work. So now we just taking a look at these things in a different way. And today we're going to look at the Jewish sort of tradition, right? This is kind of like, if you never heard of Kabbalah, you could just look at it like a Jewish Freemasonry. You know, so they have their own processes and ways that they're encoding and decoding information. You know what I'm saying? Now, what they also did, and I know we're supposed to go into it, and I keep stopping it, but oh shucks, damn it. What just happened? That is not cool. Are y'all still there? Okay. I don't know what just happened. That was crazy. But what I was going to say is, I hope any pages didn't delete. But what I was going to say is, you know, they also, after they came into some money, or at least a part of the larger Jewish family, right? The Rothschilds. Matter of fact, let me see if I can pull this up. You know how we do. We like to pull up shit here. Mm-mm-hmm-hmm-hmm. We don't care who sees. That's how it's supposed to be. Mm-mm-hmm-hmm-hmm. All right, so here's biosemiotics. All right. Biosemiotics is a field of semiotics, is a systematic study of sign processes and meaning making. Semiosis is any activity, conduct, or process that involves signs, where a sign is defined as anything that communicates something, usually called a meaning, to the sign's interpreter. And biology, right? We know what biology is. So biosemiotics is basically the study of symbols in regard to biology. I need y'all to understand now why I have been such an ardent promoter of biosemiotics the last 10 years. And nobody knew what the hell I was talking about. And every time I say biosemiotics, they go to this one lady who wrote 2 books on biosemiotics. I'm like, bro, there's a whole universe of biosemiotics. This is not one lady. This is a whole universe. And just knowing the story of biosemiotics alone should charge you up and make you ready to get out there, especially sending me some money on the Cash App. I'm serious. Now, you don't think it's related. I'm going to tell you why it's related. Look. Oh, shit. Okay, now we're talking about Jewish folks, right? So I want you to know, obviously, that these are people that already have an in-depth knowledge of not only Egypt, but the Bible. So when this guy right here, Friedrich Rothschild, right? When Friedrich Rothschild creates biosemiotics, and then the Rothschild family funds all of the big schools to begin this study, bruh, that was supposed to be the sign that everybody was supposed to start getting busy right there. 1962, the flag is in the soil. 1962, the flag is in the soil. And what do I mean by that? This means when they launched this movement, this means that they're no longer accepting the old stuff. What do I mean by the old stuff? I mean, no longer were they looking at the symbols that our ancestors left as arbitrary goofball information. Because a lot of stuff we got into that, and people in our community still on that. They be talking about, like, you can hear these guys debating about the 700 angels versus this and that and the other. They just having like goofy conversations. The folks that's putting millions and billions into understanding these symbols that our ancestors left, they got to a concrete space where they realized that all of this was advanced technology, advanced science for us to use in this life, in this world, on this dimension, on these bodies, on this planet. Not alternate dimension, gobbledygook with invisible, none of that, people. That's not what your ancestors was doing. If that's what they was doing, there would be a symbolic pyramid, not a real one. Okay, those are really big solid bricks over there. That's not, yeah, they didn't imagine the pyramids. They didn't meditate them up there. They actually built those things. You know what I'm saying? With actual math and actual conferences, like actual calculation. So the information encoded in all of those pictures was stuff to be decoded and translate into society building, real society building. My brother never calls my phone. Hold on, this might be important. Might be emergency. Hello? Yeah, not much. I'm live though. Oh, no, I was just picking up. You good though? All right, I'm gonna call you back as soon as I finish. All right, love to. Small little brother. He'll never call me. All right, so I don't even know what I was saying before that they came in. That's how, you know what I'm saying? I see that. So I know what I was saying. Anyway, they figured out that it wasn't no fake stuff. So you got to approach this now from a different way. All that Jordan Maxwell, David Icke, and all that, you got to let that go. Even a lot of the stuff that you got regarding the Zodiac, there's a space where the Zodiac has a lot of real-time applications. And then there's a space, especially within the Black community, where the Zodiac has turned into gobbledygook. The Zodiac is now mixed with chakras and kundalinis and all kinds of stuff is mixed in there. They even mixing in diet programs now into your, yeah, that's gotten real crazy with the colors and the crystals. So it's all together. The color science, the crystals, the chakras, it's gobbledygook. So hopefully these things allow you to, rekindle that that drive and that fire to really get to know your ancestors, and you can journey back through time this way and really, have a different idea of who these folks was. So, all right, that's enough of me talking bullshit. All right, so let's get here. Right, so let's start off with Exodus and the hidden name. Right, so we're going to start right there. Yeah, I know it don't take me long at all to start my foolishness. So we're going to start right there. The Exodus scam. It's not really a scam, but I thought it was juicy. I like it, so I'm keeping it there. Right? Because it is an intentional misleading. This is not like this is not a translation thing. It's not a translation thing. So I don't want people to think that, like how they say, oh, when you translate from this language to that. No. When it comes to this is a straight up fake name. Okay. Exodus purposely is put there to cover what's in there. That's a lot of, what do you guys think is actually happening when they keep editing and remaking Bibles? The reason they're doing that is to hide stuff in there. Every time they edit the Bible, they're hiding something that's in there. So anyway, any Israelite camp, any Christian group, Catholic group, any sort of Bible organization that's out there that only promotes the use of the King James Bible, I promise you, they want you to be stupid. I'm almost certain that is a 501c3 organization, and they're being government sponsored to keep you dumb. Now, if you belong to one of these organizations, all you got to do is ask around and check it out. All you got to do is ask them and check it out. Why would they want you to be only using the King James version of the Bible when the King James, first of all, that is the mass exodus that I'm trying to lead right now. That's the exodus that we need to have. Right? I'm Moses. I'm Moses. Right? Where's my staff? I need a staff. Give me a staff. Here we go. Just gonna have to do for now. Yo, what other kind of staff would you have in 2023 but like a selfie stick? You know what I'm saying? But I don't know. Right? Moses used a magic wand. Rod, magic wand, same thing, different. Another conversation. Anyway, wait, y'all do know the old pictures of Jesus? He always had a magic wand, like Moses's rod, right? Anyway, but my thing is, I'm trying not to start trouble. What? I ain't starting trouble. Or at least much more trouble. I'm trying to be good. I'm trying to be good. I'll let y'all expose these folks. All right. So anyway, I'm leading the Exodus, and the Exodus is from Jamestown. You cannot leave Jamestown if you're still in the King James Version of the Bible. That is the chain that shackled onto your brain, is King James. Remember, Jamestown is the first city of slavery in America. Jamestown, James represents that slavery. You got to get that up out of your mind. You got to come from up under that, right? Now, LeBron is not a part of the conversation, but, you know, I'm a LeBron fan. So LeBron's always popping up, right? But I wanted to do a little breakdown just so you get an idea of what I'm saying about names, right? So LeBron's name, you can look at it 3 different ways, and we try to give you that. Simple. You can play with it further on your own, I guess. But you can break it down to Le and Bron, because it's French. Le is a definite article like L, meaning the, or the singular, or you can take it to another space and be God, right? We know L, God, the definitive article in religion, always refers to deity. Then the Bron is brown, and brown also means strong, right? So I'm not even gonna unpack that, right? And now LeBron as one word, it means the brown one, the dark one, the fast one, or the rabbit, right? When you look up LeBron, those are the definitions that you get. And now look at LeBron, the grown-up guy, right? All of what's in his name is what's propelling him past billionaire status, right? So a name is not just a name. That's what that whole little diatribe is. So Exodus is a deliberate red herring. It's not just, like I'm saying, a Bible thing. Now, the real name of Exodus is actually names. And this is why I'm saying it's not just a translation thing, because Exodus means like to leave, to depart from, to go out of. That is not even close to names. Names, how you translate names into go out of? I'm just hold on, we got to stop sharing for a second, because I want to see faces. I want y'all to, like, how do you do that? How do you translate the word names? Listen to what I'm saying. I want y'all to get this. How do you translate the word names into depart from? I'll wait. If you can show me how that was a translation mistake. No, not similar. No sounds. It's just purposely done to mislead you. And now y'all got goofballs around that's telling you you need to stay in this lost state. You know what I'm saying? But that's not how we supposed to party. So, all right. So lastly, we got to know the Bible and ancient Egypt are both in alignment with the fact that naming a thing is the most divine process. Naming is literally abracadabra, like I create as I speak. That's what that word, that's since abracadabra. That means I create as I speak. The Bible, the world was created, God, through the word. When you go to Kemet, it says they created the world through utterance, right? So naming is creating. Naming is creating. That's why the name of Exodus is hidden. So I want you to take a look at this here, right? And remember that in this book, you guys are going to have your own study. I'm leaving you guys riddles, puzzles. A lot of things will be in this book for you guys. So I'm dropping some information. I'm dropping heavy information on you guys in the book, but I'm not doing all the lifting for you. You got to know you still got to walk. You still got to do some walking. You know what I'm saying? I still need y'all to go get that cheesecake. All right. So you still going to have to do your own walking. I'm just giving you guys training wheels with the book. So why are we here? Right? We're looking at this term for lion. We're looking at this term for lion. I'm giving you guys a head start, hint, hint, pun intended, head start, right? A head start, because you have Aleph and then Resh. Aleph is symbolic of the Ein Sof, or the creation, the deity, in a variety of ways, but specifically the Kabbalah to the first or most high. And then Resh is also symbolic of that, but Resh is symbolic of the most high in man. So you got God, and then you got the Godhead, or the supreme sovereign, or the highest exalted, the most exalted, right? And so that's a thing even in itself, right? And then you got the Yod-He. So I just wanted to give a little bit of decoding, right? Biosemiotics, I just wanted to pull a little bit of this information out, right? You look at Revelation 1:8, right? Before we look at the words of Revelation 1:8, you have the numbers. You have the 8 and 1 motif, which not only is the Agdod or the Enid, which are the gods of creation in Egypt, but you also have mathematically the Most High, which is the number 9. And then you get to the verse, which it says, I am the Alpha, I am the Aleph and the Ta. Now, the Ta, we kind of went into that, the Tau. Yeah, so we went into that. I'll just leave that there, right? So you got that. You can play with that on you can go in further. Revelation 19:16, and on his robe and on his thigh, he has a name written, Sovereign of Sovereigns and Master of Masters. Right? So again, keep these things in mind as we move forward. Now, Yashayahu, Isaiah, what is that? Remember this and show yourselves, men. Turn back your transgressors. Remember the former events of old, for I am Al, and there is none else, Elohim, and there is no one like me, declaring the end from the beginning, and from old that which has not yet been done, saying, my counsel does stand, and all my delight I do. So I want you guys to start unpacking these things that have been sitting right in front of you all this time, like Judah, right? Lion of Judah. There's a reason why we're looking at these things. So we looked at lion, now we're going to look at Judah, right? And the first thing we're going to look at with Judah, for the most part, and trust me, there are people that are more qualified to take you into some of these individual pieces than I am. But some of these things you need to be made aware of so that you can even do your own investigating. So we hear Lion of Judah. Lion of Judah, the term has grown to actually represent all of the tribes of Israel and Israelites and Jewish folks, et cetera, et cetera. But one of the tricky things about that is they leave the first syllable off. See, the actual word that it comes from is something pronounced closer to Yahuda or Yehuda, where deity is first, the Ye or the Yah. Then you got Huda, or what translates as Judah, right? But the first part is off, and that part refers to the deity and praising the deity when you put them together. So it's not just praise, it's to praise deity, right? Which, when you look in the Bible gives you specific instructions that most people don't pay attention to. The only way you're given to communicate with God is through music, through sound, through song, through dance, through clapping. That's it. We'll just leave that. All right. So again, biosemiotics and coding information in the pictures. This picture is encoded in Exodus via Kabbalah. So reverse engineered into the most prolific initiation. Yeah, this is the most, in my opinion. Now, this is an opinion, because there's a few things in the Bible, and you may not, after you know everything that's in there, you may not agree that this is the most prolific initiatory process in the Bible. For me, knowing what I know, this is the most prolific. Even Revelation doesn't really compare to this here event of Exodus. This is like the biggest thing, in the Bible. So we're gonna, take our time, and it has a lot of kemet in there. There's a lot of kemet. There was a lot of work in Exodus to put this together. So this is a really it's a really special. Exodus is very special in the whole. The Bible doesn't even have the same value without Exodus. If you take Exodus out of the Bible, it's gobbledygook. None of it makes sense. It may be the most important book in the Bible, period. Right? Everything is established in Exodus. So that's what's important to know. You know what I'm saying? Now, here again, like I told you guys earlier, we're going to probably talk about this at least 10,000 times, which is actually the process of learning. So you guys can get this into your temporary memory, then move it from there to your permanent memory, and then move it again from there into your genetic memory. And that only happens by repetition, which is one of the techniques that you're learning, Anyway, so what you're looking at here, right? You're looking at the line of Judah, right? This is the line of Judah, right? This is the original lion. Now, people can try to debate it. They will fail miserably. But this is the Lion of Judah. This is where it comes from, right? This is your master mystery of 99% of all mystery schools on earth. This is the scene you're looking at. Almost all of the mystery schools, all of the religions revolve around this specific picture, which is the reason why we spent 47 minutes talking about biosemiotics before we got into the video. This is important, right? So you have your great dog, and you have your ancestor dog working together to resurrect, to initiate, to resurrect the perfect black. That's what you have in front of you right here. So the lion is there. The great wolf, the great dog, and the great wolf working together to bring the perfect black back. right? Very important. Now, that's kind of like a surface level, or maybe it's a little, get a little information, but you can take it to another level. And I will, but I don't know if we'll totally get into it tonight. Shu, which is the lion, actually represents electricity. Anubis represents magnetism. And so when you look at Shu and Anubis, they intersect on a perpendicular. That perpendicular is where magnetism and electricity intersect to produce electromagnetic radiation. Yeah, I know. We might have just left the building. You got it. You got enough. Anyway, we here. So now, this is the actual term. This is the actual name of Exodus. This is the actual name of Exodus. And so we're going to pull this information right on up out of there. If you try to figure out what this SH is before this apostrophe, you are going to spin your wheels so hard that you're going to be ready to fight somebody. That is a revolving, man. That's why we had to look at a few things before we got here. Judah, lion, get some preliminary ideas. Woo! Now, the mot, the M-O-T, well, that's pretty easy to figure that out, right? If you know anything about Canaanites, right? We're talking about the Bible. If you know anything about the Canaanites, the Canaanite god was M-O-T. And the Canaanite god, M-O-T, Mot or Mot, was the original deity for the word, right? And that was taken actually from Anubis. So the Canaanite god Mot or Mot is based on Anubis. So when you look him up, and go ahead, feel free to look him up, you'll see that that's the Canaanite god for just if you pull up Anubis, just take Anubis off and put Mot there, that's what it's going to look like when you pull it up. It's going to say funerary, underworld, like it's going to have the whole thing that you know about Anubis, but it's going to say M-O-T because that's the Canaanite version of Anubis. That's the Canaanite version of Anubis, right? And hopefully by the end of this conversation, you'll have enough information to go through the Bible and see that a lot of what you think is in the Bible about, I'm gonna just say this, the god Shu is one of the most important figures in the Bible. The god Shu, one of the most important figures in the Bible. So that's what this word is, Shmot. Shmot. It is a combination of Shu and Anubis. It's literally this. The word Shmot is actually representing this. Remember, your voice is electromagnetism. The word is electromagnetism. When God or gods are creating the world with the word, they're creating the world through electromagnetic radiation, just like what you're hearing right now. My voice is an electromagnetic radiation. You're like, no, it's sound. It's not. It's different. The sound of it. Okay. You got to understand different invariants. Now, that word, the word represents the body of Osiris. So Sh by itself represents Shu. Mot by itself represents Anubis. Shmot together represents that holy word, and that holy word is the body of Osiris, which is the reason why in church, when you get mass, you eat Shu bread. Duh. Duh. They're not. If you look, if you know what you're looking at, it's not really that hard to find this information. You go to the church, you get shewbread. Like, I don't know what you guys are thinking it is. Right. So anyway, names. Right. So now let's take a look and unpack names. Right. Because names, not just names, names are also titles. Titles, very important when you're talking about initiation. Right? Very important when you're talking about royalty and rulership. Title is everything. And the only people that don't think names and titles are significant are the people who are impoverished. The people who are at the bottom, because their name don't mean anything. But if you notice, like somebody in the neighborhood, hold on, even on the low level, somebody in the neighborhood, you might have a knucklehead in the neighborhood. He known for fighting, putting hands on folks. He good at it too. Well, he developing the name in the neighborhood. And so if somebody talked to him a certain type of way, he like, oh, wait a minute, hold on now. I'm gonna have to put hands on this guy because he don't know who he talking to. Like he don't know my name out here. Like, same thing, LeBron. A couple games ago, he was playing against, a couple weeks ago, it was Memphis. They mixed it up. Even Shannon Sharp jumped off the thing. He arguing with Ja Morant father and all that. But they put the mic up close where you can hear LeBron. And LeBron was talking about the light-skinned guy. He was like, yo, homeboy talking crazy. Like, he don't know who I am. LeBron got 20 years in the NBA building up his name, and you're disrespecting his name, his legacy. All them bricks that Russell Westbrook been shooting and wearing dresses and all that kind of foolishness. In his mind, the wearing of the dresses had nothing to do with the kids bullying his kids, with people bullying his kids in school. Shooting all those bricks over the backboard had nothing to do with people bullying his kids. Because remember, he came on and said, yo, it's going too far. People bullying my kids in school and all that. They messing with my name. You know, my name. Bruh, the people not messing with your name. You messing with your name. Your name in the public is built off of your repetitive behavior. That's how people recognize you. Hear words? Recognize. Recognize you based on your patterns of behavior. So if you all shooting bricks and wearing dresses, duh, it's not long before somebody puts the name together and goes dress brick. Not Russell Westbrook, but Russell Westbrick or Dressbrook, or, you know, they're going to start doing that. Like, you did that. You know what I'm saying? Now you got to let the checks that you cash to wear those things and do them things be your comfort in the midst of the controversy. That's why you get the big checks to do those things like that, because you're going to face a certain type of energy afterwards. So it's not like you're getting $1 million. Like I spoke to Young Thug Father. Young Thug Father told me directly that Young Thug got $1 million to wear them dresses. So he approved of his son wearing the dresses because of the $1 million. Now, hey, I can't say what I would do in the situation under similar circumstances. You know, where I'm sitting from now is hell no. You know what I'm saying? But who knows tomorrow or yesterday what I would have decided. You understand what I'm saying? But the decision you make, you got to hold that. You know what I'm saying? Like, you got to hold that decision. So, yeah. Just want y'all to understand this information. All right. I'll be trying to stop myself from going off on too many tangents, because this is supposed to be 1 hour, and I don't think we've done a 1 hour yet. But I'm definitely getting through this no matter how long it takes, especially since I'm not coming back. The only reason why I'm not doing the class, I'm not sure about the classes for the rest of the week, is because I'm trying to finish up the book and have the book available for everybody to download on Friday. So that Saturday and Sunday, when we're going through all of the information, you have the book at home. Like, I don't want to, you know, I want to get you at least 500 to 1,000 good pages by Friday. You know, and I think I'm somewhere around 800. in terms of having it where I want it to be. It's a total of about 1,700 pages right now. Some of those won't be there, maybe, hopefully, or maybe we'll just even it off at 1,800 pages, but I'm trying to have at least half of that done and in you guys' hands by Friday. So that's why I got to cut my time down from being online. Now, also, so your name is not only your legacy, your title, but it speaks to your character and your morals, right? Your character and your morals are going to be your name. It's going to be how people deal with you, how they remember you, how they talk about you when you're not around, if they talk about you at all, right? So I just want you to get those things and put those into your notes, your back pocket, you know, when you're unpacking this schmaltz, right? Now, Mason, Freemason, Mason, I need you guys to understand that it is a lifetime worker for God. So if you're not somebody that's looking to work, you're probably not good material to be a Mason, just a FYI. Like, this is not a thing where you get ready to, even though that's what you see. So you might find there's a lot of bum lodges out there. In fact, most of them are like that now, even though that's not, if you read the material and study the material, that's not Freemasonry. That's not what that's about. If every lodge right now got examined to see if they was doing, like, if they were living the letter of the law to Masonry, 99% of the lodges in America, Prince Hall or otherwise, would be shut the fuck down in an instant. All these places where they having pork sandwiches and they big fat 200, 300 pound worshipful masters and all this crazy shit, all them joints should be shut down in a heartbeat, because none of them is doing Masonry, period. It's not possible that you're making yourself better with beers and frankfurters. That's not making yourself better, champ, and you know it. Not making yourself better with frankfurters, beers, and Newport cigarettes. That's not Masonry, period. Don't matter how much degrees you think you got. You're clearly not applying any of those degrees. If you still doing, if you 20 degree, 30 degree, all, and you frankfurters and you ain't got enough, if you don't have, how you got all them degrees and you don't have enough discipline to put down cigarettes or franks? That's somewhere along the line, somebody dropped the ball. So that's that, right? But I just want you to understand the similarity, right? This is very important between the actual definition of the working definition of what Masons are and this slavery thing with the Israelites, right? Because there's a whole misunderstanding about the difference between the Israelites and the Egyptians, et cetera, et cetera. If you look at the Israelites and the Egyptians, what you're looking at really is the rough, unpolished person, and you're looking at the polished inversion. That's what you're really actually looking at. You're looking at a duality. You're looking at the novice and you're looking at the adept. That's what you're looking at with the Israelite and the Egyptian. So the initiatory process has already started once you're put into servitude, once you're put into work indefinitely, where the work is larger and more arduous than the reward, because that's also a part of Masonry. Like I told you, it's like a mental rape where they're gonna break you down. You're gonna be doing a whole lot of work. They're gonna be violating you. You're not gonna get credit. Ain't nobody gonna pat you on the back and say, good job, none of that. You know what I'm saying? They're going to make it tough on you. You're going to have to fight through all that, persevere, because all of those are lessons that you need to build your morale and your character. You don't build morale and character with a silver spoon when shit's sweet. You build morale and character when you go through shit. So that's why the people who are the most prolific are the people who went through the most stuff in life. I was abandoned. I died on a doctor's table. I flatlined. Like I there's a lot of shit, and there's a lot of shit I'm not even saying. You know what I'm saying? Like my daughter almost died. You know what I'm saying? Like it's things that you go through that are transformative. And so a lot of the mystery schools, knowing that a lot of people don't go through shit in the initiatory processes, they have shit for you to go through. So that way, people that don't really go through shit in real life, you can, you know, Anyway, so I just want to put that on the record, though, that a lifetime worker, that slave concept, there's different ways to view that. And I'm saying that also to speak to some of the brothers that you may have heard saying some crazy stuff in the media about slavery and this and that. You guys that are not initiated, you don't know what you're listening to or what you're seeing around you in the world. This is why it's easy for you to get emotional, because sometimes anyway. So that's that. Sidebar, inside the word initiation, I just want you to just always remember that the root of initiation, the two sounds are EA. Because EA is like the priest of all priests. EA is the priest of all priests, which is why the Pope wears the fish hat and all that kind of stuff. So EA is at the center. Water is at the center. Semen is at the center. Reproduction, death, rebirth. EA, initiation, right? Eation. But anyway, so the initiation we're talking about starts in the 7th chapter, right? The 7th chapter, right? So in the 7th chapter, we have, hold on. In the 7th chapter, right? We was here and we talked about, actually, you know what? I can't give y'all everything. I gotta let y'all do some work. I gotta let y'all do some mental work. I can't give y'all all the answers. Okay, so Kabbalah, right? Time to level up, right? The Kabbalah. Now pay attention to this definition. Pay attention to this definition, because again, initiation means that you're trained at being able to pull information from the symbols. So that means that the higher your level of initiation, the more information you need to be able to pull out of things. So I want you to pay close attention to this definition. It's a very simple definition. You can find it on Google, but again, you got to be able to pull the information. This is the ancient Jewish tradition of mystical interpretation of the Bible. That means the people, quote unquote, of the Bible have a different. So that means the Jewish people, when you read your Bible and the Jewish people read their Bible, even if y'all sit down with the same book, they're reading something completely different than what you're reading. I just need you to get this, right? First transmitted orally and using esoteric methods. Esoteric, and we talked about that from the root ta-eso, meaning inner things, right? The most inner thing that you can talk about is biochemistry, which is why we looked at biosemiotics. And what was that? The science of pulling the information out of the symbols pertaining specifically to biology, right? And what do you see? Ciphers. Ciphers. So that gives Kabbalah an allusion to Masonry. Ciphers is Masonic. Okay. So it reached its height of influence in the Middle Ages, blah, blah, blah. Okay, you got it. Do some work on you. Now, Sephira, these guys. So when you look at the Kabbalah, the tree of life, the little circles on there are not chakras. Don't let me slap any. You do have people out there trying to put chakras into this. I'm telling y'all, that chakra shit is dangerous. Every spiritual system you got goofballs pushing chakras into it to destroy it, so you don't know what's going on. And so there's a reason why it's folks that really live this, these guys are becoming millionaires and billionaires, and you trying to pray and go to church or the synagogue or the mosque or wherever, and you ain't getting no luck. Yeah, that's because you don't know what the hell you're looking at. You're looking at a King James version of a Bible put together for you to be stuck in Jamestown. Like, no, sir, you're going to get you up out of there. So anyway, the Sephira. Now, the funny thing about that is the last sound in Sephira is Ra, right? Sephira. But you got 10, and you can apply supreme mathematics. I'm gonna just leave that there, right? But the Sephira also means the same thing as Shmo. It also means the same thing as Shmo. It also talks about names, right? So if you look up Sephira, if you look up the definition of Sephira, it's going to say emanations. You look up emanations, you're going to have this: an abstract, perceptible thing that issues or originates from a source. The action or process of issuing from a source. A tenuous substance or form of radiation given off by something, right? So we're just unpacking. Now, here's what the initiation is. Like I said, Genesis chapter 3, you had that initial spark initiation, that initial first transmission of light. Now, here, by the time you get to Exodus number 7, by the time you get here, this is when you're ready to, this is like higher. This will be like considered like higher degrees, right? Because now this is where you're being prepared to become a king or a pharaoh. And the king or the pharaoh, he has to be prepared through his heart. His heart. So that's what's being placed on the altar. The pharaoh or the king's heart is placed on the altar. And so that's this initiation process. And you're going to move through the 10 Sephira. Now, when you look up Sephira, it's going to tell you that these are the speculations of esoteric Jewish mysticism. These are the speculations. Speculative, operative, speculative, operative. Sephira are speculations. Interesting. Each sphere is a realm of light. Each sphere is a realm of light. Less dense than our realm. That's why this is our realm. In fact, that's the reason why everything around you seems like it's solid, even though science tells us that it's not. Right? It's because we're all vibrating atom-wise at a similar speed. Oh my God. Okay, gotta stay hydrated. All right, so again, the number 9 is back, right? Because there are 9 realms above ours. Very important. Remember, 9 is always the most high. So 9 and 1, blah, blah, blah. All right. And so the 9 and 1 motif, it gives you leave y'all some work to do. Anyway, so the basic concept simplified is vibration or sound becoming light. The difference between the different realms of light is basically the speed of vibration. As the vibration speeds up, you get into the higher and higher realms until it's at the Ein Sof level, where the vibration level is beyond quote unquote understanding, right? Where we are is almost the slowest level of vibration, because any slower is death. Right? Now, in keeping everything on this, keeping everything in the right space, right? Our world, our realm, where we live at, our bodies are water, right? That's kind of what it is here, right? So our world is the water world, and water turns into stone or ice, right? Stone, ice, rock, crystal. Water crystallizes at 32 degrees. That's very important for you to understand, so that you know that your ancestors weren't just doing this thing happenstance. So if it wasn't about vibration slowing down, you wouldn't have the 32 worked into the motif, because you have 10 sephira and you have 22 paths, which are the letters of the alphabet that go to the 10. That's the word, is the 22 letters, which is how we, remember we talked about the 7 days and the 22 giving you pi and all that kind of stuff, the word in the 7-day. The word, again, is manifesting our world through the 10 sephira, right? And so you have the 10 sephira, the 22 letters, 32. How is that symbolic of your world and your biology? Because we live in a water world and a water-based body. And water becomes solid at 32 degrees. It is literally the waves, right? The waves collapsing, all right? So the water becomes solid, 32 degrees. You got the 32 pathways. And for all of you goofballs that have been watching them dumb Illuminati videos talking about 33 vertebrae in the spine is why you got 33 degrees in masonry. First of all, that's not how it goes. It's not 33 degrees in masonry. Masonry consists of the first degree, the second degree, the third degree, and a holy royal arch. That is all masonry is, period. Now, we're talking about Scottish Rite Freemasonry. Scottish Rite Freemasonry, you can only earn 32 degrees. So this whole 33rd degree thing, that's not a thing. That's not a thing, period. That's not a thing. It's 32 degrees. All right. Here, I just kind of wanted to give you guys just a little bit more of a look at what it is, in case you've never seen it. You know, I used to be into studying like Kabbalah and all this kind of stuff in my early 20s. That's how I kind of got on to A.A. Rashid, the Kabbalah god. He was going in. I even had him write the foreword for my first book. You know what I'm saying? So shout out to him, whatever he's doing right now. All right, so weighing of the heart ceremony. Weighing of the heart ceremony is post-death, right? The weighing of the heart ceremony is a post-death proficiency exam. You don't know that it's a proficiency exam because you uninitiated, but that's what the weighing of the heart ceremony is. Look it up and say, oh, they're going to check out your experiences and how you lived and blah, blah, blah. That's a proficiency exam. That's how well you learned the lessons of life. That's what's being judged. That's what's being measured, right? Measured. Right? What do you think you're doing with it? What do you think you're supposed to be doing with these rulers and all these tools? Right? You're taking measurements. Right? So anyway, the installation of a monarch requires a highly specific preparation of the heart through the head. This is Exodus, Shmot, deliverance. Pay attention now. This is what this means. This is where the code word switch. This is where Exodus from Shmot, this is how you got that. It actually goes together. And when you put it together, it gives you the process. This is deliverance from darkness by partaking in the body of Osiris via the shoe bread, pun intended, right? And yes, it's after this process that you start hearing the shoe bread popping up, and God teaches the Israelites how to make the table and put the bread of the presence or the shoe bread on there as all that has to happen after this. You don't get none of that until after this whole process, right? So, and here's some study, right? Here's some study. There's just a little bit of for you guys to do some poking around on your own. I know a lot of this stuff that we've been dealing with the last couple of weeks is all like emotionally jarring. It's all emotionally jarring because religion is one of the most controversial things. And to be able to go into, for those of you that hold this book in high esteem and be able to look at it in some different ways, it really shows that, you know, what kind of maturity you have. But it's difficult to kind of deal with this stuff. You know what I'm saying? Especially religion is something we get with our parents and family and all that kind of stuff. So it's tough to go through this and have different views and look at it a different way, but we need to grow. All right. So we know about the waters of Nu in Kemet. We know that the god Shu is the original firstborn son. Now, if you don't know that, when I say we, people who have studied those texts. So now you're included in the we, because now I just said it, so you know it too, right? Or you can look it up and get a little bit deeper. But that's a part of Shu and Shu's story, Shu's motif, right? Shu is the firstborn son. So the question is, I think that's a great idea. Everybody should send in $30. Osborne said everybody that's watching this video should be donating at least $30. And God damn it, I agree with you, Osborne. I do want to shout out my man Lance. Shout out my man Lance for leading the way with a Cash App. Shout out my man Lance for leading the way with a Cash App. Damn it, we're gonna hold it down. Lance put a little gas in the tank, and Osborne has put some gas in the tank with that energy. Like, hey, let's start a marathon. Let's start a drive. You know what I'm saying? And if you don't have no bread, that's cool. I get it. A lot of folks is dealing with whatever they're dealing with, or maybe we just in between checks or whatever the case may be. Send $1, or hey, you know what? I see you on Friday, whatever. It's all up. But we know about the god Nu, and we know Shu, right? So if you don't know, Nu and Shu are definitely the Egyptian, motif. So the question was, is there a Nu in the Bible that has a son named Shu? And the craziest thing is the answer is yes. He even has a whole book. It's called the Book of Joshua. And some people will go, hold on now, you can't turn Joshua into the god Shu. And I'm telling you guys that if you think that I am doing that to try to mix up this, then you do not research your book, because there have been whole books, professors, doctoral studies, PhD papers written on the fact that Shu has some very eerie similarities with the character Joshua in the Bible, including like specific places in papyri, et cetera, where certain passages look like they just been deliberately copied over. You look at certain stories about Isis, the sorrows of Isis, just some of those things that's floating around out there, and the story of Khnum and this certain little things. So I want to give you these things that you can look in and research, right? If we break down the name Joshua, right? What do we have with that? Yah and Shu. Yah and Shu. That's what we got right there. We break that into, we got Yah and Shu. And ain't nothing but of. So God of Shu, Shu, God, Shu, Shu, God. What are we doing? I'm just saying. I'm just saying. Right? Y'all know how I do with these quick questions. You know what I'm saying? Quick question. Is there a God named Shu in the Bible besides Joshua? Sure. Yeah, sure. Is in the Jesus is Yahshua. Just saying. I'm just saying. These things are there. I don't want to laugh and be insensitive to your stuff. You know what I'm saying? Because, you know, people have a certain way of, you know, that's why I can't really be in an organized religion, because the organized religions are too closed down in their thinking. And for my soul, I got to have everything in front of me so I can make clear decisions. It's like the vaccine. I need all the information so I can make the right decision. And to me, it's insane how people use less information to make these type of decisions than anything else. Yeah, I got a Cash App from a guy whose last name is Lion, and that's what I'm talking about. The Lion is in the building, and definitely want to shout out Amber. Amber is in the building. All right, so Shu is the lion god of electricity that holds up the sun and the moon. Now, if you want to see if Joshua has anything really significant in common with Shu, all you got to do is go to Joshua 10:13. Right. And now some of these numbers of these verses are also coded. So you'll start to notice that some of these numbers look eerie when you look at what they're talking about. Right. So in that verse, though, Joshua 10:13, he tells the moon and the sun to stand still. To me, that is only there to clearly define him as not a man and as a god. At the bare minimum, Joshua got to be like an angel or demigod or something. Because last time I checked, I personally cannot stop the moon and the sun from moving. There's no way that I can stop the moon and the sun from moving, like, and cause them to stand still. But when you go back and you look at Shu, Shu is always depicted as holding up the sun and the moon. In fact, when you see that picture of Atlas with the world on his back, that's actually a play on Geb, Tefnut, Shu. Like that's their motif, right? So you got these things here. I gave you a few verses. You can get, a few verses is here for you to pull up for your study, right? But just that's a wow verse. That's a wow verse, though, to tell the moon and the sun to stand still. I'm saying, hey, I'm just applying regular reason and logic. There is no man that I know can make the sun and the moon stand still. Clearly, you got to be something more than a normal man if you're stopping the moon and the sun. Like, if you even think you could stop the moon and the sun, unless you on some shit, unless you high. The fuck? All right, so we back. Osiris dies on Shu, the lion god, right? He's also resurrected on Shu. And Shu is the hidden one in this picture, right? Shu is the hidden one in this picture. I need y'all to know that. Osiris is the hidden one. He's known as the hidden one. But in this picture, Shu is the hidden one. Because if you don't know that Shu is the lion god, you don't see him in this picture. And in fact, let me tell y'all, that was actually one of the purposes of the deities having animal forms. If you actually stop doing all this surface level shit and you read some of these stories, all these guys got whole universes of information behind them. Like, there's this many stories about Shu. You know what I'm saying? Like, so if you check it out, a part of these guys having animal form is to trick people. Like, literally, that's what's in there. So they'll turn into a bird so that you don't know it's them, or they'll turn into their animal form so you don't know it's them. So a part of Shu being depicted as a lion in this picture is so that you don't know it's Shu right there, right? But that's how that's going down right there. Just so you understand, Shu is the hidden one sometimes. And to take it a step further, what you got to understand also is that Osiris, how do I say this? Again, information packing. So Osiris, you got to understand that Kemet is the first place that invented and they mastered information packing, especially into pictures. Like that's the whole idea. So Osiris is not just Osiris or Asar. He's not just him. That's what makes him special, is that he embodies all of the gods, as well as being none of the gods at the same time and being him separate. So that's something that a lot of stuff may not make sense to you if you don't understand that at any moment, all of the gods are Osiris. All of them. So when you go through, you have certain titles, right? We back to titles and names where Asar, Amun, Amen, like you got these like compound deity names where attributes, right? And this is where Allah, the 100 attributes of Allah, right? That's where that came from, right? The original, you know what I'm saying? No disrespect to my Muslim brothers. Trust me, I used to put my forehead on the ground quite a bit. But I need you guys to get to this symbolism, right? So Shu is there in the building, chilling right there, right in front of you. Now, here are the major four aspects of the god Shu, and these are also coincidentally the major four aspects of Jesus. So you know, I'm just going to put that in your pocket and allow you to have those and do what you want to do. Right? Jesus, firstborn son. Shu, firstborn son. Jesus is the middleman for heaven. He the plug. You want to get to heaven, you got to go via Jesus. In Kemet, if you wanted to get to heaven, you had to go via Shu. Shu is the God that you got to go through. That's the guy that's going to get you from the earth to the heavens. Okay. Jesus and Shu are both God in man form. That's what they represented. Jesus and Shu were both known as the light of the world. So remember, Shu is not just a lion god, but he's the god of electricity. And some goofballs out there, I had a debate. I just smacked him so hard. I never even posted. And this is years ago. I said, oh yeah, Shu is the god of electricity. And somebody's like, no, he's not. Hold on. Like, no, he's not. He's the god of the air. And see, that's the food. I say, hold on, champ. I didn't say he wasn't the god of the air, but see, you taking intelligence away from my ancestors. You taking intelligence away from my ancestors all over the world. They have big ass windmills because they know how to extract electricity from the air. Duh. Right? So, you know, we got to remember these people build pyramids. We got to remember these are not, These are not goofballs, these folks here. They operate on a high level of science, right? So we got to keep that in mind always, right? So light of the world, we got it. Now, Osiris's body here, this is just these are some major family members. These are just some major family members that all are a part of the body of Kemet and the body of Osir, the perfect black, right? The perfect black. Now, like I said, there's a lot more attributes to the God body, right? To the God body, but that's who Osiris is, the original God body, right? Shout out to the 121s again, but that's the original God body right there, right? And so there's a point where you're reading these stories and it's speaking specifically about Osiris, but then you can be talking about the body of the gods moving. Then you can be having, like, it's so many different levels to the what's communicated through and in the stories of Osiris, which is why his legends have been able to create so many different mystery schools and religions and studies and so on and so forth. Our ancestors did a hell of a job of packing these stories with information, right? So here we go. Let me see what time it is. Yeah, ooh, it's 8:46. Yeah, so we've been too long. But so here we go. We're going to start right here. Right? We're starting right here. Pay attention. How many people was working with Set to kill Osiris? Right? How many people was working with Set to kill Osiris? See, that's the thing that goes on in this book now. The book uses number, you know, to give you some signatures, so you know that you're not just making up stuff. See, that's one danger of pulling information out of symbols. You could look at a symbol, just make up some shit, and then you could just be thinking you pulling information out of it, and you're really not. You're just making up shit, freestyling. So you need to make sure that you're grounded, and number helps to do that. So you'll have, especially in the Bible anyway, you'll have signatures to tell you if you're talking about what if you're on the right track or not, right? When you're doing your own independent study, right? So that 72 is a very powerful combination, because when the process starts, remember, the first plague, right? The 10 plagues are the 10 Sephora, or Sephora. You know, the 10 plagues are the 10 Sephora. These are the 10 worlds, the 10 struggles, the 10 trials and tribulations that the dead man has to go through to become a pharaoh, right? The stages of enlightenment. We'll walk through it, but it starts with the blood, right? And if you know anything about the Nile was always, even like, that was the nickname for the Nile. The Nile was the blood of Osiris. So literally having the Nile flood with blood in the Bible, for anybody that's familiar with the Kemetic stories, is like, come on, bro. It's like, bruh, come on, bro. It's low-hanging fruit right here. You know what I'm saying? But it's good to have low-hanging fruit, because it's easy for people to catch on, right? Now, the gods that's associated with the Nile, Happy and Sobek primarily, right? Happy and Sobek primarily. Then you get to the second plague, right? The second plague, which are the frogs, right? Which are the frogs. And we talk about them all the time. That's the Ogdo, right? That's the Ogdo. We know about the frogs. And then we get to the third plague, which is the earth, right? We know that's Geb. Now, the fourth plague was a little bit trickier for people to figure out, because most people, they think of Khepri as the beetle. And I'm the first person to discover that the transformative beetle in the Egyptian text is actually the firefly. That's my firsthand research. Now there's a lot of niggas repeating my shit like they spent thousands of dollars and thousands of hours studying these old ass stories to figure that out themselves. No, that's me. So I know that when they're talking about flies, they are also talking about Khepri, because the most prolific beetle is the firefly. And you can look it up now. Fireflies are not flies, they're beetles. And they glow, they light up, bioluminescence. So you're talking about the perfect black, and the pigment is levels to it. Anyway, we just here. We moving quick because it's almost 9. Right? So flies talking about Khepri. Then you get to the cattle, right? The next plague is dealing with the cattle. So you're dealing with the Apis bull and Happy. The Apis bull and Happy, right? The bull and the cow. And then what you're dealing with next, you're dealing with the skin directly being attacked, right? So you know Shashat is going to be on deck, right? And then Happy is going to be on deck, because you're talking about the goddess of the skins, and then you're dealing with beauty, right? So they're going to be there. Next, you're dealing with lightning and hail. So that's literally electricity in the air and frozen water. That's shoe and nut all day. Like, that's super low hanging fruit. The next thing you're dealing with is all the herbs being eaten up. So, you know, I'm a naturopath. You know what I do. So easy, I'm gonna get that one. And you know, Hecate. Well, Hecate is the Greek name for the goddess Heka. You know what I'm saying? Or Hek. She hexes. That's where you get the hex and all that. That's from her, the goddess of magic. But she's also the goddess of healing, right? So, yeah. So all of the herbs being eaten up. Yeah, that's them. Then the next one after that is where you get into the darkness. You get into the darkness now. So now with the darkness, that one is a combination of things, because you have the darkness, which is the chaotic waters. That's noon all the way by itself, grand opening, grand closing. But you also have your solar deities, because if you have darkness, then basically your stars are being blocked out, or they're being surrounded, or, you know, so you have a combination of things being alluded to in this 9th, you know, and it's the 9th plague. So the 9th plague brings the darkness, and you know, and remember we were talking about the perfect black. So anyway, the 10th one, the 10th plague is what? The 10th plague is the firstborn son. The 10th plague is the firstborn son, which is the God shoe, right? So now we don't walk through all 10, right? We're going to walk back through all 10 and just unpack a little bit more information, right? So we got it, right? The first one starting at 720, right? You got Happy and Sobek. Then you got the Agdo, the Need. Then you got Geb. You got Khepri, Apis, Happy, Shashat, Happy, Shu, Nut, Heka, Jehudi, Ra, Ray. You got the whole family up here in this story. Right? Now, let's start again. The first trial, blood and body in the Nile. So what is the story of Osiris? Right? His body got cut up into 14 pieces and thrown into the Nile. Right? 14 pieces and thrown in the Nile. Now, one of them pieces got lost, so that means it's 13 pieces. And we know 13 is Jesus and the 12 disciples. Pay attention, right? The body of Christ. So the first thing is blood in the Nile. The second thing is the transition to rebirth. Transition to rebirth. Transition to rebirth. That's what the frogs represent. That's what the frogs represent. That's why we have frogs deities for birth, right? For birth, right? Frogs come out of the water, birth, right? Then you have the body being found and brung on land, right? They had to find Osiris' body and washed up on land. It's a few different stories, but it come out of the water and gets on land, obviously, right? So that's the third. Then we got what you got. You got a rotten body, because remember, as they find in body parts, the body's chopped up. It done been in the water. Animals done played with it. So you got a dead body rotten. You're going to produce flies, right? So you have two things there. You have decay, which is another name for Anubis, or a meaning of Anubis, right? But then you also have transformation, right? The process of decay is the process of transformation. That's the beetle, the transformative beetle. Now, the bull, right? We go to Apis and Happy. The bull represents the missing penis. I'm showing you how they coded this story and you didn't know what you was looking at. The bull represents the missing penis. That's the missing penis. Now, the next thing is Shashat and Happy, right? Shashat has that leopard skin. You got to understand her relationship to Asar with being the perfect black. And that's the reason why Bane Jadet and Horus is there. Bane Jadet and Horus both are aspects of Osiris. Just like everybody almost, but in the story, Bane Jadet, or the goat, is Osiris's soul. And it's actually Osiris's soul that Isis uses to produce Horus, which is why Horus represents the light body, right? Because he was created from a soul, or a bodiless, kind of like just a bodiless spirit. The next thing represents the mummification process. It also represents the bringing back to life process, where they start to put all the body parts back together, right? That's done with hydration and electrification, right? Which is why even when you see the table with Anubis and Shu, if you look at what's going on under the table, you see the two shins down there as electric generators. Look at the feet by the lion paws. You see, those are electric generators there to stabilize the electricity that they're going to use to bring him back. That's why those are there, right? Okay, so now the next one is the Frankenstein moment, like the he's alive moment, you know, like when the Frankenstein doctor was making Frankenstein and the electricity hit and he's alive, right? That is the greening. That's the greening, right? That's swage, right? So that's where the essence of where I got the mama atomics from. Like when we go through this, y'all start to learn more about me than y'all think. But this understanding of Osiris coming back to life is where I came up with mama atomics. This is literally how I healed my daughter's Jed pillar, her spine broken in multiple places, her neck. I healed my daughter's Jed by studying this, which is what the reason why I named the formula I used to heal her spine swage. Swage is the process of greening. In Kemetic language, they don't have, like, it's not, I gotta keep saying it, they don't have dead words. So green is not an arbitrary thing. It represents a process, just like every other color that they deal with. You know, it's a process because they understood what that means. If you see green, that's light being filtered through pigments and reflection, refraction. There's a whole process for color to be produced in your brain. So they captured that in the language. So that's the greening. Now, the next one is what? That is that blackness, right? That's the blackness. That is the ninth plague. We back there again, the ninth plague. Now, the ninth plague Look at the number signatures, just in case you didn't know. There's a number signature there. The 9th plague, number 9, right? The 9th plague is 72 hours of the perfect blackness. If that does not clarify that this is an initiatory practice, retelling the Osiris story, nothing will for you. And say, where did you get 72 from? Because I know how to count. You see how that goes, people? So if you have 3 days, yep, 3 days is 72 hours, right? Of the perfect blackness. Literally in the Bible, it says it's so black you could feel it. That is called the perfect blackness. 72 hours of the perfect blackness. And then what happens? The 10th plague coming out of the perfect blackness is what? Looking for the firstborn son. So what came out of the blackness, the chaotic blackness, to create the universe? The first son, right? Now, to take it a step further, to give you another number signature so that you know what you're dealing with. The 14th day of the first month is when God delivered the firstborn of Israel from death. Remember, 14 body parts chopped up in 14, like this. This is just right here. And we'll follow the Bible lead right at the perfect time. It's 9:01 right now. We're gonna follow the Bible lead, and this is where we're going. This is the last piece right here. 12:33. 12:33. Guess what? Our Pharaoh is now nearing the end of the initiation. The process is over. Guess what? The blindfold is taken off between the 9th and the 10th. Now, supreme mathematics ends with the number 9 because 10 is a cipher where you start all over again. Right? 10 is a cipher where you start all over again. So the number 9 actually finishes it. So that's why the 9 is 72 hours of darkness. You still blindfolded. Then when that blindfold comes off, now you have your last, your firstborn son, right? And that's at 12:33. And we know 12 symbolizes in the Bible the Israelites and so much more. But we know that 33 is always a sign of initiation, right? And 3 times 3 is 9 once again, right? Which we see over and over and over and over, right? So that is the entire motif there. That is the entire motif for that part. And like I said, when I go in this weekend, I'll be able to connect the pieces more because, it's parts, right? So as we walk through that part, we talk about Osiris being the philosopher's stone and blah, blah, blah. It's more to it. We get to the lion and, so that's kind of when we, oh, wait, y'all can look at this. Matter of fact, I'm gonna let y'all look at this because I know some of y'all thought, wait, my mic is crazy right now because I was loud. But I know some of y'all thought I was making up the story about the Rottweiler actually being related to Anubis. As people was like, yo, ain't no, like 2 people hit me up. 2 people hit me up like aggressively. You know what I'm saying? It was like, yo, bro, I got a Rottweiler. I've been have Rottweilers. Rottweilers ain't got no triangle pyramid up under their chin. And so that tells me that you got low quality dogs, family, and you might have got ripped off for some money. But I said, you know what? The same way the brother's thinking that, let me go ahead and show the brother, or show the family, whatever. So
Is black much here? Yeah, actually, that is not correct. She should be like this puppy. This puppy has a black triangle, and around it, it's 10. Is that something the judges look for If a judge finds all things equal, I have seen them sometimes in Germany trying to decide between 2 dogs. At the end, lift up the chin, look for that triangle. If one dog's got it and the other one doesn't, the one with the triangle will be put up first.
So now this lady you see on the screen, historically in the Rottweiler community, this is a legend. This is a legend. Most of the Rottweilers in America today have some bloodline from these people. Like this is Rottweiler royalty. And she's on her Rottweiler farm right now. And this is this lady here that she's talking to is somebody that's coming to buy a puppy from her. And so she's kind of giving her the rundown and allowing her to have the choice and say, hey, you know, here's what it is. And I don't have all of it there, you know what I'm saying? But I just had the part pertinent for, you know, what we were doing. But the lady is asking her, like, you know, she's telling her basically, because when you buy a dog, and this is game for you guys that's trying to get into the dogs and buying dogs and all that, so you know what you're dealing with. When you buy a dog, I need you to understand that the price is based on what it is that you're trying to do with the dog. And I need you to understand the code for a low quality dog is pet. Pet is a dirty word. Okay, pet is a dirty word. That's not a good thing, but they're going to say it to you in a loving way, like it's a good thing. So when you're going to buy a dog from a breeder, first of all, never buy your dog from the pet store. Only buy dogs from breeders, period. Never go to a pet store. Pet stores always have the lowest quality dogs because breeders sell their own dogs. The dogs that they cannot sell, they have a deal where they'll just wholesale them to pet stores. So they sell the best quality, the lowest quality, go to a pet store. Think pet store has pets. Pets are the lowest quality dogs. So dogs comes out like this. The highest quality dogs, you're going to keep that dog. That's the keeper. You don't even sell that dog. The highest one that come out, that's yours. Whoop, give me that. You know what I'm saying? Now you take in the next highest quality dogs is either going to go for working dogs or show dogs. So those are the three categories for the good dogs that they produce: a new breeder, a show dog, or a working dog. And working dog could be service dog or attack dog, like protection or stuff like that, but professional, you know, serious. Not you just got the dog around. No. These is dogs like my dog. You know what I'm saying? I can take my dog anywhere. My dog know how to behave. It don't, you know, like it's you know, yeah, I could take my dog on an airplane. You know what I'm saying? Like my dog is trained, credentialed, paperworked out of the wazoo. You know what I'm saying? Like that's a working dog. But I got my dog from a breeder. I had to go up into the mountains, literally a 6-hour drive to get this dog. You know what I'm saying? Like, but so that's what that is, right? And so the lady's explaining to the new potential customer, hey, it depends on what you're getting a dog for. So if you get this dog right here, this dog would be a great pet, but you can't win no contest with this dog. And the dog's mind, it's going to probably be all over the place. So it's going to be a lot more difficult to train. You want to get this purebred where you see the genetics is A1. And how do you know the genetics is A1? By lifting the chin up, because all Rottweilers from the beginning of time, they have a pyramid under their chin. The ones that's mixed with other animals over time, even if it don't show up in the pedigree, because sometimes it's such a little amount of the mix, it ain't there. It's you still got slightly mixed Rottweilers as Rottweilers. You know what I'm saying? Pick that chin up. You see that pyramid? Then you know that's what that is right there. You know what I'm saying? So that's, yeah. You see that pyramid right there. Now, if you think that somebody got enough time and money where they could create a pyramid on the chin of a dog, I don't know that, especially not for no hundreds of years. I don't know that. I don't know no technology that could exist like that, or a reason why that would be, like how that would even happen, like a reason for that. You know what I'm saying? So that's a thing. So that's what the picture on the left is, Anubis when they first discovered the Ark. And then obviously on the right, that's me and my baby. And you could see we had just got her marathon. We just did a 5K marathon, little light, like a home kind of sign up marathon joint. It was fun though for me and the kids to do it. But it's a good picture for you to see under her chin, her little pyramid. You know what I'm saying? And then, like I said, I have this with the professional, and this is like from the 80s.
This black smudged here, yeah. Actually, that is not correct. It is this black smudged here, yeah. Actually, that is not correct. She should be like this puppy. This puppy has a black triangle, and around it is Tim. See this black smudged here? Yeah. Actually, that is not correct. She should be like this puppy. This puppy has a black triangle, and around it is Tim. Mm-hmm.
Now, the thing is, people are like, oh, but the Rottweiler's kind of fat. The Rottweiler's got smaller ears. Those are things that the breeders have been doing to this dog over time, because you can still see people who have dogs that resemble, and you can breed it back to larger ears, and you can do all of those things. It's not what you think until you get into dogs and you start understanding how much variation that you can do in a short time by changing the breeding habits. And so the people that control the breeding standard determine how your dog is going to look. Period. Within 5 or 10 generations, you can change how a dog looks completely. You know what I'm saying? So, shout out to Uncle Van. Shout out to my bro Van. When we went out to Indianapolis, this blew me away right here. Indianapolis, they got in the museum out there. Check this out: a 26-foot Anubis. I said, now what are they doing with a 26-foot Anubis? Anyway, we getting out of here. Y'all got too much information. Y'all don't know what to do with this information. Y'all don't know what to do with this information. It's okay. It's okay. It don't matter. It's gonna work in your mind, though. It's gonna work in your mind. It's gonna work in your mind. It's gonna be in your mind, sitting in there, and it's gonna constantly